Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. This is Dr. Flight. It's good to be reaching out to you. What I want to do is provide a summary for our week 5 material. So we are a third of the way through the course. We've had a little bit of everything. We've had a case assignment, we've had a project stage completion. We've gotten into a routine with the reflections or the discussions. So this is just again an opportunity to reach out and touch base to review where we are in the course, what we're doing, and this upcoming week, week number 5. So in week number 5, we actually are looking deeper into, it's chapter 4 in the textbook, but we're looking deeper into consumers, and the textbook takes an interesting direction or tact on this, and they really focus on consumer-based research, types of research, and kind of all about the consumer. So I want to take some of the topics that I think are really important in a strategic and management application to today. And we're going to go into some things deeper that may not be covered in the text quite so much, but there's a lot of supplemental material available, as well as videos and PowerPoints and things like that. So these additional concepts I think are important. So again, the chapter deals with the research process, identifying consumer, or it briefly talks about different consumer roles, types of the like decision maker, the user, the decider, those types of roles in the decision making or consumer space. But really talks about in depth this idea of where consumer and research information comes from, the research process, different stages in the research process, and something called a marketing information system at MIS. So those are all good things to talk about. But most of you are not going to be market researchers. And so most of you are going to be using some type of an application of market research. And so as we talk about the customer, though, some key things are important to know. So that's what we'll get into. The main kind of thrust of the concepts this week deal with three different things that I'm going to focus on. One are the applications of consumer-based research. So as a manager, there are a bunch of different research projects that could be done that would help you do your job. Things like price sensitivity analysis, customer profiling, and descriptive research, which they talk about with the 5 W's and an H. In terms of that model you'll see in the reading. Um, there are other applications that deal with perceptual mapping and all kinds of other things. So we talk a little bit about applications of research. Second thing that I talk about is the idea of a consumer experience, managing CX, manager UX, user experience. So in the world today, many companies have what's called a consumer experience manager, CX, person who's in charge of managing the consumer's experience. That's a big deal, and really where we are today in most businesses. So we talk about CX a little bit, but also talk about the application of a journey map. Journey mapping is a tool, again, it comes from research that helps you manage consumers, and then along top of that is something called customer relationship marketing or management. So CRM is again, it's a process tool that's heavily data driven, and it's entirely research based. So it's a process, though, of managing customer relationships. So that's the other thing, customer relationships and forming those relationships. There's something called the customer pyramid, where we again apply some data and analysis to identify the most profitable customers. Something called customer lifetime value helps us do that. And so what I try to do this week is marry this idea of data research or marketing research, the use of data in order to form customer relationships and manage customer relationships, customer expectations, and things like that. So this chapter is really all about customers, and really kind of their thought process and what we think about them, how we do research. But again, my focus here is on the application of some really key concepts in marketing today. So customer relationship management, the idea of tiering customers into the profitable ones and then those are less profitable, customer experience, user experience, and a journey mapping concept, which is, again, it's what companies do right now, and it's been pushed over the last 3 to 5 years-ish, something like that. So it's really cutting edge. It's the stuff that we want to do. Um, and other applications of research. So those are the big things that we want to think about. The last part that I want to mention is the reflection for the week. It deals with something called a synthetic customer. And again, this is kind of a leading cutting edge thing. It's data driven, so it's a research driven process like this chapter would suggest. There's research that can be done. But in essence, a synthetic customer is a customer that's been created based on lots and lots and lots of customer data, but it's a synthetic customer. It's a fake customer, or it's a simulated. Simulated's the best way to think about it. A simulated customer, and what we can do with that simulated customer is then theoretically test marketing strategy to see how that customer reacts. And so it's very, again, big. When you marry big data with AI, with the algorithms and the software capabilities of machine learning, then you get really wildly futuristic, applications. And so the synthetic customer then is a way to do research without actually gathering data like from surveys or doing a lot of that work. It's just a very different type of research approach. And it's really where we are and where we're moving. So it's important to kind of feel that and kind of understand that a little bit. So that's what the reflection is about. There are 3 different articles that talk about synthetic customers, and just gives you a background on what synthetic customers are and kind of their pros and the cons and some things like that. So I think that'll be really beneficial for you. And again, the chapter's great, but it's a little bit limited in kind of the real, really what moves market managers and strategists in this specific space, which I think will be really helpful for you. So again, this week we're back at our content. We're in chapter 4. There are a bunch of supplemental readings that just give background and help for what's there. There's a couple readings. One is on Aldi, and then there's another one with Starbucks that deal with loyalty programs. So you might think about, again, the CRM material and how companies manage relationships with customers, and that's really where those 2 articles apply if you want a little background on more customer relationship applications and loyalty programs. So it's kind of an extension of how you create a relationship with a customer by creating loyalty among them and with them. So that's what that piece is all about. So back at it, we've got another reflection this week, discussion. So that should be exciting to jump right back into. And again, material this week should really open some opportunities for you to think about the dynamic nature of how data is applied to make big decisions, and really the cutting and leading edges of where we are today. Okay, so have fun, have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.